Hey everyone, today we are back to working on replacing the shower valve. And this has taken me a while to get to this point because I ended up needing to order a whole lot of fittings. And the reason I needed to order them is because either the local big box stores didn't have what I needed or it was extremely expensive to buy it locally. For example, this one fitting right here, it is a 1/2 inch thread by a slip fitting. That wasn't available locally, and I found some, actually no, I think it might have been available locally, but it was like $10 for the one fitting. These fittings, the 1/2 inch thread by standard thread, for a container of 30 of them, it was $60 locally, and I was able to get that exact same container for half that price online. And exact same brand and everything. Thank goodness for eBay. Also, these 45-degree street fittings. They are pipe size on one side and flared to go inside the pipe or outside the pipe on the other side. I don't think those were even available locally, but even the individual normal 45-degree elbows, they only sold them individually rather than in a multi-pack for some reason, and they were like almost $3 a piece locally. So again, I ordered a whole bunch of this stuff online. It took a while to come in. I had these unions from prior project. That's like I like to buy extras when I do projects. So, but the good news is at this point, I think we have all the fittings that we need. We just need to solder everything up. So that's what we're going to work on today. So I kind of just mocked everything up right at the moment. Trying to get things planned out. So what we're going to do is start putting all this together and soldering everything together. And the hope is by the end of today and the end of this video, we'll have the shower valve up and operating. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert the threaded fitting into my valves, and I'm going to start by installing Teflon tape. I know some plumbers recommend using both Teflon and pipe dope. Some just use pipe dope. I've had good luck using just Teflon as long as you use enough of it. And how do you know if you use enough of it is kind of a experience thing. I've also had use some cheaper grade Teflon that was thinner. I mean, it's pretty thin to begin with, but I found some that was even thinner than that. And it took even more wraps, but let's take a rough estimate when we do this one. That's one wrap. It's like 2 wraps. 3 wraps. 4 wraps. 5 wraps. Go with 5 wraps. little edge, we just smooth it out. And I'm going to put this back on just to help protect those threads a little bit while we're screwing the rest of it on. So now, get our wrenches, and we will tighten these up. That seems pretty tight. Also, apologies if I bump the camera too much while I'm doing this. It is pretty tight working quarters trying to work with a camera. Right. So next I'm going to remove this. And this is all kind of just sitting in here. And we're going to work on this top section first. So what we need to do is we need to prep this for soldering. So we're going to take everything apart. And we're going to clean all the interiors. And I got this brush attachment for my drill to make things a little quicker. That polishes the inside really nice. And that'll make for a good... See how dirty this particular one is? Again, these were purchased off of eBay and been kicking around for a while. use my official pulling brush on this. It's pretty clean, but there's a spot in there that I don't love. Say that's pretty clean and shiny. Especially compared to how dirty these are originally. Yeah, I'm gonna get the next size bristle brush. See if that works better. We got a set of them here. This one's a little on the big side, but man, that polishes it nice. Just a quick follow-up with the other one here. I'll do that first one again. Yeah, I like that a little better. There's the first one, second one, and also I picked up a drill-mounted outer pipe cleaning tool. So that should clean the outside of this. That works nice. Nice and shiny. Right, so now we have all our pieces cleaned. Next up, we get our flux. Using some flux with a flux brush. Basically get some loaded on the brush. And you spread it on your fitting. And we got both sides of this fitting, so we're just gonna put those on. And we're gonna do this, solder this together as an assembly, so we're gonna flux everything up at once. So as you may notice, this one is a tiny bit shorter than the other one. I actually had to cut this one to get the tolerances right for this particular situation, but I got it to just barely fit. And we'll flux this up. This will go on there. So this is the piece we're going to solder together. So let me pause you for a moment and take you downstairs and we'll get this soldered up. Alright, so we just came down to the basement. It's a little safer, a little more room to work. And I got this sitting on a brick because I find it's just easiest to do this on a non-flammable surface, and a brick seems pretty good. And got my propane torch ready to go. And this is a little bit of a tricky one. So let's see, just trying to figure out a plan here. So my plan is I'm going to heat this one up first, because I find that you heat the thickest ones up first, but also there's threads here and threads and a mounting surface here where I don't want to put too much solder on or it'll start spilling out. And one way to combat that is if you have it angled away from your threads, it will not pool on the threads. So I can do this fitting first, and the thing is this one is then pointing downwards, and I'm thinking if I get that good and hot, I can then bring it back up and hold it, and then it's level, and I can do this one, and then I can do the center one. Maybe it'll just hold itself. No, it won't hold itself. All right, so that's my game plan. Let's see how it goes. Okay, looks like we did pretty good on that one. And you see how it turns green like that? Oh, shoot. Worried about that. Come back here. Still hot enough to melt the solder. All right, and now we can do the center one, which should be pretty quick. Yep, it was pretty much. Shoot. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. Now that I've thoroughly made a mess of things. Yeah, I'm going to let all this cool, and then I have to fix my fuck up. So I'll be back in a little bit. All right, now that we've let this cool for a bit, we get to basically redo what I already did. I gotta unscrew this up. So clean everything back up. Yep, and there's a buildup. Basically two ways I could fix this. I could heat it up and try to salvage it, or I could get more of this see if we can do this. Without burning ourselves. Well, I think the only way we're gonna be able to salvage this is try to heat it up and drop it on there. Well, let's put some more flux on it and see what happens. This is why I like to make sure I have extra fittings, because if this doesn't work, we can always go and make a new one. As annoying as that is, alright, let's see. Not fall off again. All right, well, we'll let that cool and we'll inspect it And we'll see if that's going to be salvageable. All right, well, I don't think it's going to win me any beauty awards, but I looked over all the seams and I think I have a good penetration of the solder. So we're going to try it and hope it doesn't leak. So now I'm going to go make up the rest of these. Alright, so we're back upstairs. And we're going to Teflon tape this part. I'm going to do this off this side because it's kind of tricky and annoying. But also, if I haven't mentioned it, one of the reasons we're bothering doing all this with the unions and threaded fittings is so that all of this is replaceable without having to go through a big ordeal. And I'll tighten this up. And it does need to go another turn in. Okay. Another thing I don't think I've mentioned actually is I know I showed on the other side there's this big jut out as to why they didn't put the faucet up this a little much higher, but there's the spot above it that you'd think was a big empty space, but right about here there is a drain pipe going across, and I think it's the vent pipe for the sink, and that's why this pipe here for the shower head is just on the front side of that pipe. So there's not much room. All right, so we got that loosely in place. Have to figure out how we want to do this. So I'm going to need a few little pieces. And I have some scraps on the ground here. But of course I took a bunch of my tools downstairs for getting those pieces ready. I'll be right back. All right, so got a scrap piece of pipe here that I'm going to be using for all of this. And I cut it flush with my tubing cutter. And I reamed it out with my pipe reamer. Now let's clean up. Man, that's got a lot of marks on it. And there's a dent there. Let me cut a new piece off of this. So I'll go down here. That's looking pretty nice. And I actually want to go up a little higher than that. I need another piece out of this too, so let's just keep brushing this with this tool. I actually have two of these brushes. One's a little worn out. So I tend to use that one first. Okay, now we got a piece that's like new. Now we'll figure out how long we need it. right there. Very clearly an exact science, since I'm just using my finger to mark the cut point. Alright, and we'll ream this side out too. And let's see how this fits. I'd say that's pretty good. Like that. Let's get this other one. I need to clean that pipe up a little better. Further down. Right, same thing, chamfer the inside. Hold on. Basically, I'm at the very limits of what I can cut on my pipe cutter. I don't really have enough room to grip the pipe, so I needed to grab my pliers. Looks like the right size. Trying to make sure these are reamed out really well. All right. Oops. All right. Looks like that will work nicely. Take these apart and clean them up. Got 2 pipe pieces, those are clean. Got our threaded fitting. Clean. Union connectors are clean. Do the insides of all of our straight elbows. outsides of the street elbows extra. Alright, now we'll do the outsides of the street elbows. Just as an added precaution, throw these through this brush. Okay, so all these are cleaned. Sure, all my pipes are chamfered. Assemble. First thing is we're going to make sure we don't forget our union coupler. one. All right. That's everything all prepared. Let's take these downstairs and solder them up. All right, so let's do this one and hopefully not screw this one up. Also, just wanted to point out that plumbing is something I can do. It's not something I can necessarily do well. All right, these pieces are a little easier to work on. So I'll let that cool enough to move it, and then I'll do the other one. All right, let's see, hopefully I don't screw this up. Okay. Let's get this other one lined up how it needs to be. Let's do it. Piece of solder here. All right. We'll let that one cool and see how they fit. All right, so while I was waiting for these to cool, I worked on cutting the pieces for the tub spout. These look like they came out pretty well. I think I used a little too much solder because I got some big blobs on this other side of both of these. Won't harm anything, but I think I'll try to clean those up, get a file and file off some of that excess just so it looks a little better. Got this part ready, so let's get this soldered up. Pieces like this are super easy compared to these other ones where you got all these heavy pieces and short joints and everything. So I'm gonna let that cool. I'm gonna clean up those other pieces and I will be back. All right, so I did some cleanup and those are looking acceptable. Not going to win any awards for prettiness, but as long as it holds. And I got this one done. This one actually I put just about the right amount of solder on. So let's go back upstairs and start putting some of this together. All right. I'm going to start by putting Teflon tape on all of these fittings. Okay. I'll start with the tub spout. Okay, that's going to look like that. Then we will thread on, let's see, our shorter piece goes on the right. Looks pretty good. We have our giant assembly, and it doesn't fit. Tub spout is too low. I'm gonna go do some checking here. All right, so I ended up drilling that a little higher. Yeah, and that fits nicely now. Okay, I think all of that will fit. It looks like it's lining up pretty well. Well, I think let's try snugging all this up. All right. So now everything is connected. Now we need to go to the bathtub side and finish installing the threaded fitting so we can put the tub spout on. All right, so we are on the tub side and we have our fitting. Obviously it's not going to stick out that far. I need to know how far it does go in. Okay. And this is where instructions come into play. It needs to stick out 4 1/16. So I am going to cut this at 3 1/2. Okay. did on our measurement. It's sticking out exactly 4, which is exactly what I wanted. I didn't want that 16th. Make sure the bottom got polished, and it did not. That's why I'm checking. And I already did clean this side off camera. So let me go get my torch, flux, and we're going to solder this one in place. We're going to be daring. Alright, so I got a rag kind of shoved up just to protect the tub. Got my torch. And I'm going to torch kind of, geez. There we go. I'll do it up and kind of away. I'm trying to avoid getting melting the plastic here and melting anything else, really. That should be enough. It is. Looks nice. Cooling things off with a damp rag. Okay. That is our tub faucet installed. After this, I just need to put the trim pieces on, caulk all around the gaps and holes. And of course, it also needs to be tested. So let me let that cool down, and then we'll see about testing it, I think. All right, so I just screwed the tub spout on. I didn't put any Teflon tape on there because I do need to take it off. I'm glad I didn't go out that extra 1/4 inch because we're already a 1/4 inch out further than we really should be. But I got the plastic knobs in place. I have all these adjusted correctly, as I think I do, it should be in tub mode and off. So let's go into the other room and turn our water on and see if we have any leaks. Feel any drips around the faucet or any of my joints. So we're good so far. We are coming up top. Apparently that is tub mode. I don't have the water pressure on full. At least not in at the water main. So it's going to be reduced flow. Make sure we're not leaking anywhere here. And we're good. Let me turn the shower portion on. In shower mode. Don't see any leaks here. Beautiful. Oh, nope, I see a drip. Where is that coming from? So it's coming out top of our union. So that union looks to be dripping. So give me a moment and I will be back to address that. All right, so unions can be a bit finicky sometimes. Get some of the water out of there. Thankfully, this is about the easiest fitting to... Whoop, whoop, don't want to turn it on. Easiest fitting to fix the leak on. So a trick that I learned from an online plumber is this is a case to use thread sealant. And you pretty much just smear this on everything union related. Try to get it not on the inside of the pipe. And we tighten her back up again. And the pipe sealant helps in two ways, from what I understand. One is it provides that surface to seal the leaks. And two is it's kind of a lubricant, and it will help you get this nut on even tighter. Wipe off the excess. It's nice and neat. And we'll turn it back on. The water's still on in the shower there, so let me go in and shut those off. And we'll check this for leaks again. Oh, yeah, we may have a drip from this other one. it might have just been a splash from when I undid that other one too. That's possible. All right, well, I will keep an eye on this to make sure it's not leaking, but I think we got this project knocked out. So thanks for watching, everyone.